it's Sir Weenie Lick here. Uh, Pretty sure, you know, joke name, unlikely serious video. So, yeah, what I wanted to talk about was the bonfire placement in Dark Souls 3, and I think, yeah, a few people have touched up on this, but there's a few of them I didn't see addressed that I feel that should not be in the game, and of course I'm going to show you why they don't need to be in the game. And the first one we will start off with here is a dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire. And I'll show you what that does to a certain shortcut up here. So, you go up here, you go to your right, and you see this. Well, you probably don't. You probably don't even go up that staircase, but anyways, you see that. The balcony, no railing. Alright. You see it's some kind of shortcut that leads back to here. It's kind of nifty. Shed some time off. So you're going to run through here, past these Lothric Knights that have armor sets that I can't get because reasons. I don't think Miyazaki loves me enough. I just want my untattered Lothric Knight armor, man. I just want it. I want to protect the fair maidens. Miyazaki will not allow such things. But anyways, you come from this bonfire, you go right here, and then bam, you have access to the Garden of the Mad King's Garden, I believe what it's called. I could be saying that wrong. But anyways, the location where Sirius is, and then you can drop down and you can go to the Dragon Slayer armor shortcut, which is the elevator, in that room with the Lothric Knight and the Lothric Priest. What the dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire does, it pretty much makes this shortcut useless. It's know something ahead, essentially, is right. But yeah, the dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire makes that useless. So you could just warp to the dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire, ignore this shortcut, and to climb up the ladder, go to the Mad King's Garden or the Dragon Slayer armor shortcut. It doesn't need to be there. If FromSoft released a patch to get rid of that shortcut, no one would probably care. It's that useless because of the Dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire, and that's kind of the problem. And I noticed that kind of FromSoft brought over this whole bonfire after every boss thing, kind of like with Bloodborne. I don't know why it's not necessary, because this game actually has pretty well designed levels. It's just that it's brought down by so many bonfires. I don't know why that is the case, but anyways, the next bonfire is the Dragon Barracks bonfire. We're gonna stop this. Don't make me look bad. Go up here. There's two enemies you have to deal with. I'm going to show you how easy it is to reach this bonfire. Two enemies. Bam. Got them out of the way, right? Don't need to be worried about that guy to the left. Kill this dude with his worthless shield. Oh, don't do this, man. No, you did it! Come over here. Run past these guys. Oh, Lord. So that would be, what? Six people you'd have to deal with, maybe? Yeah, 6. And then you reach this bonfire. There's really not much to deal with. It's not a very long run to this bonfire. It's honestly unneeded. I mean, you can keep doing that run over and over again, and it's really not that bad. It's not like you would do that again and again and feel like, oh wow, this is terrible, I don't want to deal with it over and over again. Like how with the Central Irithyll to the Church of Yorshka, you would not want to go from Central Irithyll, have to deal with all those Pontiff Knights over and over again. That is actually a really annoying gauntlet of enemies to go through, but that's not too much. That's actually pretty easy. Plus you can use Alluring Skulls, pretty easy piece of stuff, you know. But yeah, Dragon Barracks it does not need to be here. It's unnecessary. It doesn't really require that much work to get to. It's whatever. It's whatever, man. Don't need it. Get it out of here. Of course, the Dragon Slayer armor Grand Archives, that's just like a freaking meme at this point. It's a joke. But it really doesn't do anything, essentially. That's the thing. It doesn't really do anything. It's just there and it looks silly. But these ones actually kind of affect how you work with the level. Of course, the Boreal Valley makes no sense. You go from his bonfire to a cutscene to a bonfire down a staircase. You'll be the next bonfire in a minute. It's so ridiculous. I don't understand it. I don't. But the next one I'm gonna do is the Undead Settlement. This one's talking about the dilapidated bridge bonfire, and I'll show you why that's completely unnecessary. You don't need it. And like pretty much every bonfire that I'm going to show makes a certain shortcut useless, or perhaps maybe in one case, I believe, a certain another bonfire useless. So I'm gonna wait through these blessed loading screens. Thank you, Miyazaki. You have blessed me. Anyways, go through here. The Undead Settlement bonfire. He's clipping. Oh my lord. Terrifying. Nerf my suffering, Miyazaki. Ugh. Truly, I have seen things that I cannot come back from. Alright. Go through these dudes. Bam. Get this guy. Mop the floor with him real quick. Come over here. Don't worry about those mob of enemies. Come down here. Kill these guys. Bam. Easy posies. Come over here. Through this door. Down here. Fight these little mans. Fight the garbage can dudes. This guy who, I don't know, feels random to me. I don't know why. Come through here, and you actually get to experience this area like the way it was meant, where this lady would be right here shooting stuff at you from a distance. It feels a lot better now, doesn't it? It flows a little bit better, except for those guys. Those guys are meant to come at you from this angle, but she's meant to shoot you from, coming that way. And so, go over here. Bam. You just reached that area. I just felt that jump miserably. Kill me. But yeah, you just reached that location. Didn't take very long. Not that difficult to really reach either. And there you go. You got to the location that the dilapidated bridge bonfire takes you to. Doesn't really need to be here. And you can maybe argue, oh, but this is just there so you can get to the girl's quest line quickly. You just get it done. Don't have to do all that walking. But then again, the cliff underside does a much better job at this. You can reach the sewer part pretty much just as quick, and on top of that, it leads to a shortcut to the boss. It's if you unlock the door, that is. So that bonfire functions much better than the dilapidated bridge bonfire, since, like I said, it's pretty much cut off. It's pretty much cut off by this the shortcut. The dilapidated bridge bonfire is kind of useless, honestly. Although, well, in this case, it makes a shortcut useless, but whatever. Next one. Oh boy, the best, the greatest offender to the Fair and Keep perimeter. I swear this is like the worst, but I'm going to show you what it makes useless. So, you know already that after the Fair and Keep perimeter bonfire, there's a shortcut you unlock, and then you immediately realize that's completely useless. Oh, why did you waste your time? I'm going to show you what it would be like if that bonfire didn't exist. If that bonfire was gotten rid of, which it really needs to be. I just don't understand why it's even still here. But anyways, this is what it does. So I'm going to show you. Go from here down this little path, and that's another thing. The Crucifixion Woods bonfire is completely useless. It's really just whatever. It does not need to be there. It shaves off like a minute of you going through like some enemies, but that's about it. But yeah, like you just seen, I fell down those little platforms, and it leads me right down the path to the Black Knight, where the Black Knight is. And if you know, the area with the Black Knight also has the shortcut. R1s are awesome. But, it leads to the shortcut, right? You go this way. Down this path, down the staircase, and you actually get to encounter this enemy the way, you know, you're meant to. Not behind him, which leads to, like, a freaking easy backstab. Now you actually he actually has a chance to fight you. And then you can go back to the path to the Abyss Watchers. I don't understand why this is here. I'm not sure if many people knew that, but it actually cancels off 2 shortcuts. And I actually think that's a really good shortcut that they put in the game, but this bonfire just, it's here. I don't understand. Another one, Keep Ruins. Keep Ruins bonfire, glorious, fantastic. This one feels more like the game's just trying to hold your hand. Like, it doesn't really want you to explore that much. Like, they were like, oh, they might not want to really... they might just want to go straight forward, even though you kind of have to go out there anyways. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know why this is here, honestly. You go past those grooves on that bridge right there. Alright. You go right here. If you go to your right, which you probably are going to go to your right because you see that item in that building right there, so you're like, okay, I want to go get that. And then over here you'll see a ladder, and this ladder leads to the Wolves of Farron Covenant, I believe. Yeah, it leads to that covenant, and there's a bonfire right next to the altar of the covenant. So you really just, this bonfire just is useless, and honestly finding that bonfire would be like a lot better. You would feel, you know, like, oh, you actually discovered something. You went out of your way and you're rewarded with a bonfire, like how it should be, honestly. But instead you're just kind of going through the area like it's intended, and then you come across another bonfire and you're just like, okay, even though there's a bonfire like a few feet away. Again, useless. Alright, another one. All I got to show off, the abandoned, well, not the abandoned tomb. I'm not trying to dog on the abandoned tomb bonfire. That one's fine. But the one I'm trying to do is trying to like show what affects in a negative way is the Demon Ruins bonfire, which is the one you can access after you pretty much got to this bonfire by just running past everything. I doubt you stood there and you fought the sandworm and all that. Anyways, I'm gonna show you what it do, kiddos. But you go here, and I like the whole like thing of you just coming out here, just all of this place, you don't know where to go. You're like, okay, of course you're getting shot at. That's not cool. That's not cool beans. Being shot by the granddaddy, great Dragon Slayer, great bow. You know, you're probably like panicking right now, running everywhere, and of course you'd be sprinting. You see that fog gate in the background, you're like, okay, and then Karth's sandworm pops up, your heart is racing, you're like, okay, this is insane, and you either go through the boss fog, which you probably took like probably got hit a few times on your first playthrough, you know, probably chugged like an Estus or 2, and you go in here and you fight this guy, and I'm telling you, if you fight this guy when you get the opportunity, he's actually not easy. I mean, he was easy for me when I went back and fought him late game, but I'm telling you, if you fight him early on, when you like get the first chance, he's not easy. So you're probably gonna end up dying. You might beat him. I don't know. He might be Miyazaki in disguise. You beat him. Or you might not beat him. I don't know. But anyways, you go back to the bonfire if you died, and you're like, I don't want to go through all that again. And so you just do it again. You just run past them all. You go up here. You go into this room, and then you're rewarded with a bonfire, which is really strange because I don't know why the game would reward you for running past something. You know, you'd think you'd be rewarded for, oh, I'm gonna go and discover, right? You actually have to like work hard for it, right? But this is just there. This is like, you were running away, and here you go. We thought you would like a bonfire. Like, I don't think that's very deserving of a bonfire, just running away from something. I will say keep Knightslayer Seorg. I feel like that's a good enough sense of relief, is seeing a summon sign like, okay, I can maybe get some help, maybe go back out there and fight the Karthus Sandworm maybe, or just keep proceeding in. Like if you go through here, you'll probably see more enemies. You will see more enemies, what I'm saying. And you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I just dealt with running through the Sandworm and the Ballista. I don't want to deal with this. Summon Seorg. You know, that's good enough. You know, but I don't think you need a save point. That's essentially what it is. But a checkpoint for just running past stuff. You know, it's for me it's very odd. Like I said, the summon sign's good enough. I don't think you need like such a easy route to the boss. That's too easy, especially it's going to seem very odd when I show you the King's Antechamber and why it's like. I think this needs to be the only other bonfire in this area. Oh crap! I forgot to show you how you access it if you don't know already. Down here in the open part of it, if you decide, you know, you're gonna maybe say, instead of just like trying to like keep on going through the whole rush tactic, you know, getting through the area as quickly as possible, you know, you don't want to deal with any of that. If you decide to stay around, you know, you get the timing down on the arrows perfectly, you know, all that stuff, and you decide, you know, to get all the items in the area before progressing further on, you'll discover this little platform. And the thing is, if you stand on this platform and the ballista locks onto you and shoots at you, and you dodge it at the right time, well, you don't need to dodge it, but I'm just saying, you would probably want to do that. The arrow will actually break the ground, and you can fall into this little hole, which will then lead to the King's Antechamber. And I think this is a much better way to introduce the enemy, how it introduces us. It comes across the corner, kind of a little intimidating, but I'm going to show you how well this is put together, how well the King's Antechamber connects the lower bottom of Smoldering Lake. Like it's so awesome, but the thing is that one bonfire just kind of ruins what like the potential this bonfire holds. It just kind of ruins it. So you never really feel like, oh, you really need to use it or anything. It's just kind of there, you know. Just I don't know. I love loading screens. Okay. I think if I say that, it'll just load. Anyways, there's a guy right there. I'll show you how you encounter him. So where he's going, you'll come from there. He'll come across that. He'll come around that corner, and then you'll have to fight this guy. Which I think is, like I said, a much better way of encountering this enemy than just simply going in there. He's like kind of faced away from you. Not really, you know, not really you having to encounter him. But this is where you fall down from. And you're coming around there, you know, you kind of hear those footsteps, you're like, well, what are those? And you see that thing. Or what are the, why would I say what are those? Oh, Lord. Unintentional. You fight him, and you go through here, that new enemy, and you sit down at this bonfire. And you think, okay, that's nice. You know, you feel accomplished finding this bonfire. You're like, okay, I really feel like I deserve that. So you go down here. And this kind of leads to like some places, some like upgrade materials, of course, some enemies to get some souls and all that stuff. Cool stuff, you know. And over here, in this room, this very room, there's actually a shortcut that leads to the boss right here. Oh Lord, oh he's back. Oh, that's right, I rested the bonfire. My memory is so bad. Oh Lord. My memory is so terrible. Anyways, like I was saying, where my message is, right here. Like it says, there's an illusory wall right where I'm pointing. And if you discover it, you hit it, and you go down here. I believe this leads you to a path to an Estus Shard. So there you go. You get 2 rewards out of this. You get the Estus Shard, and then if you really pay attention to the area, it'll take you down here, run through here, hopefully not get hit by those annoying chaos orbs. Run through here, up that. And if you notice, this is leading to the Demon Ruins bonfire area, and essentially leading to the old Demon King boss. So this, I feel like this is a much better shortcut to the boss. Instead of having really, I mean, you can get to the point where you can master the arrows, dodging them. So really, that's like, you don't have to worry about anything. But that, I feel like, is like a risk-reward type of shortcut. I like that. And, of course, if you go through the whole area, you can eventually deactivate the ballista. That's another thing. It does lead. The room with the demon pyromancers, it does lead to the route to the ballista. So it really connects everything just beautifully, honestly. And you can deactivate the ballista, and then you can fight the sandworm. And then you can go back to the first bonfire in Smoldering Lake, and you can have a nice, peaceful, long walk through the area to the boss, if you're okay with that. Or if you just still want to be all risky and you just want to get there quick, you can go through the old King's Antechamber shortcut. So I think that's really good. I really like that one. So, like I said, Demon Ruins does not need to be there. It ruins the full potential of the old King's Antechamber. You know, how it like interconnects everything just wonderfully. Next one is, this isn't necessarily dealing with bonfires, more or less how like certain shortcuts can like they make other shortcuts obsolete, and that is at the Church of Yorshka. And you might be guessing already. It's the door that you unlock to Ponds of Sullivan. And I genuinely don't believe that shortcut needs to be there. And I'll show you why right after this loading screen decides to stop. Alright, so you go from here. Of course, you know the door is right over here. Right there. There's the door. Now, I think you'll probably remember a few seconds ago, or I don't know, a minute ago, you unlock this shortcut right over there. And that shortcut is an elevator that takes you pretty much, well, that pretty much has the same destination, which is Pont of Sullivan. And I'll show you how long it takes to get to Pont of Sullivan, how much of a time you'll have to get there. It's really, like, I'm being honest, it's really not that bad. If anything, it's probably almost just as bad as going through the door shortcut. I'll show you. So you gotta deal with this. Irithel Slave Sorcerer, the Doggers, the Frost Doggers, out of a Nightmare. You go over here, and there's another shortcut right here, where you can just skip all that full encounter right there. Don't even have to deal with it. Just go through this shortcut, up this ladder. Long ladders are awesome. Or if you want to, you don't feel like climbing ladders, you could just sprint through the area. It's whatever you want to do. Go through there, up these stairs, and then fight the guy with the scythe. So that wasn't really much. You really did not have to do that much to get to Pont of Sullivan. So, like I said, you really don't need the door one. And my fix to that would be to put a lock on the door leading to Pont of Sullivan, to put the key in Irithel Dungeon. I think that would help a little bit with like replayability. I think that would. Maybe on your first playthrough, you're just going through that elevator shortcut, and you're like, man, I wish there was an easier way to get to Pont of Sullivan. I hate dealing with the Pont of Night with the scythe. You know, I hate him. I really do. I hate him too. And so on your first playthrough, then you end up going to the Profane Capital after beating Pont of Sullivan and Aldrich and all that. And you find a key, and you read the description, and it tells you it unlocks that door leading to Pont of Sullivan. Well, it kind of hints at it, I guess. I don't think it would just straight up tell you. And maybe say it's to a door that locks the way to a cathedral, or something like that. and you'd kind of put two and two together and be like, oh, it's talking about the door leading, that's blocking the path to Pont of Sullivan, the much easier route to take. So, you know, you'd keep that in mind on your next playthrough, so maybe you'd want to go to the Profane capital before you went to Irithyll, and, you know, so you could have that easy access to Pont of Sullivan, if he really is that much of a problem for you. If he's not, and you probably won't mind going through the elevator shortcut, you know, you'll just deal with that, again and again. I don't know how much you could take of that, but it's whatever, whatever floats your boat. Another one that does not need to be here, surprisingly, I'm not sure if many people knew this. I mean, it took me a while to know this shortcut even existed, and that's the Drakenkin Mausoleum bonfire. Doesn't need to be there either. It really doesn't. And of course, you probably guessed by now it's because there's a shortcut you can take that's not far from the bonfire. And yes, that is the case. And I'll show you where that shortcut is. Right after this loads. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, thank you, Miyazaki. Obviously I didn't do enough blood sacrifices. Get my wishes to come true. Anyways, yeah, you come up here from that bonfire, come over here, and right here is an elevator. Alright, you need to stop. You need to stop shooting at me, boy. And come on. I don't want to be with this filthy hexer. Alright, come down here. And this bonfire leads directly to the first bonfire. Well, not directly. I mean, it's not like you, like, yeah, see the bonfire's not right in front of you, but it leads you right back here. And granted, this encounter is kind of annoying, but still. I mean, coming at it from behind, which you'll probably do if you're using the shortcut to get back to the Drakenkin Mausoleum. I mean, it's really not that much of an issue, honestly. And on top of that, since it puts you at the first bonfire, you can pretty much run back to the ancient wyvern area. And you can run back to the area no problem, right? So, leads right to this bonfire, and leads... Oh god, it's not pointing up. It's pointing down. Ah, gee! But anyways, yeah, you know, it heads back to the ancient wyvern arena, and then you can go through it that way, which is kind of how the way it's supposed to be gone through. So yeah, it works nicely. You can just keep, like I said, encountering this little ambush from behind isn't that hard. It's much more difficult from coming from the front. So yeah, it works pretty nice. I mean, there's no need for the Drakenkin Mausoleum bonfire at all. Let's see another one. I'm not sure if that could be it, honestly. I think I'm pretty much done. Of course, you have the ones that are most mentioned, like Vort to the, what is it? What is that bonfire called? Vort to the foot of the high wall to the undead settlement. Like, you can get to the bonfires in the span, like the 3 bonfires in the span of a minute. I mean, it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Of course, you have the High Lord Wolnir to Irithyll the Boreal Valley bonfire to Central Irithyll. Really, they could just get rid of Irithyll the Boreal Valley and keep Central Irithyll and High Lord Wolnir. I don't really mind the High Lord Wolnir bonfire being there. And of course, there are some bonfires that I don't mind being there, like after boss fights, like Champion Gundyr, Osirius, because Osirius, you know, he has an illusory wall afterwards that's blocking the path to the untended graves, so it kind of tricks you, so you probably would like want to go back to the bonfire. Pit of Hollows, totally understandable, even though on his corpse you can find a homeward bone to get out of there. On Hodrick's corpse, my bad. I wasn't really specifying which corpse, but yeah, Hodrick's corpse. Abyss Watchers, they could push down that in the Catacombs of Karthus. I don't know why. Like I said, Bloodborne. I don't really understand why that's like that. You could also argue maybe it's because just in case like you want to go straight to Hawkwood during his quest and you don't want to. I don't know. It's really not that much of a walk, anyways. Either way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it for the bonfires. And then the last few, of course, I mentioned off some boss bonfires that I didn't mind at all, and didn't really like affect the areas in a negative way. So yeah. Another thing I want to mention is that areas that I do want to say that have really good bonfire placement are, of course, Cleansing Chapel. It interconnects wonderfully. And I think, what else? That's kind of it. Mothra Castle also does pretty good at interconnecting stuff between like the Mad King's Garden and Dragon Slayer Armor Shortcut, and of course too the Dragon Barracks. Yeah, it does a pretty good job. If it wasn't for the Dancers bonfire or the Dragon Barracks bonfire, it would actually be a really nice bonfire. So yeah, and I feel like the DLCs have pretty good bonfire. I can understand this one. Some people probably might be scratching their head at this, but there are some people that will invade your world and break the bridge. So I think they're taking that into consideration. It's not bad bonfire placement. It's just that, you know, it's just in case the bridge is broken. So yeah, I think the DLCs did a pretty good job at bonfire placement. Pretty good, because every time I found them on my first playthrough, I was relieved. I was happy to find those bonfires, but the ones that I listed, I feel like they just affect the levels in a negative way, and they probably should be removed if it's possible. It'd be nice if they were patched out or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to address. Just a few bonfires and all that fancy stuff. That's been touched up on quite a bit already, but you know, I'd take it a bit further. Why not? So I appreciate you watching the video, listening to the weenie, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.